And here's our queen marked red. You see, she's the one that's extra red. My pen got a little out of control there. To camera. Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. I'm Darren, this is Yote, short for coyote. So it's January 16th and I'm shooting a beekeeping video, can you believe that? So I was able to get away from work about 3 o'clock today, and when I was driving home, my car temperature said it was 64 degrees out. And I know there's a cold blast coming, so I thought I would take the opportunity, get down in here, quickly check some of my hives, just do the weight test, just reach down and grab them and check them out. You're wet, what have you been in? Oh, he's been in the creek. And make sure they got adequate food. Some of these were light going into the end of the season in 2024, and I'd been feeding them, and most of them are where they needed to be. We've had a lot of warm days prior to the last cold snap. A lot of bee flight, so the bees are using up their resources faster than normal. So I brought my Hive Alive down here with me. I intended to shoot a video on this Hive Alive fondant just by itself. So Hive Alive did send this to me, and I am a Hive Alive homer and I believe in it. Last year I had a record harvest for honey, and the bees did great. And I used exclusive Hive Alive products for my liquid feed, my fondant, and pollen patties. And we also did have a great weather year, so that contributed to the success as well. But yeah, I'm a firm believer in the Hive Alive products, and check those out in my affiliate link below, and you can buy it and I'll get a little commission off of that. And there's a promo code Darren10, you can get 10% off. So, and it's good stuff. If you're a large scale beekeeper, you probably aren't going to buy this, but if you're like a sideliner like me, it's ideal. It's packed and ready to go. It's just the neighbor, man. It's okay. And I really like it, and I'm going to use some today, probably if I find some really light hives. So the Hive 24 is a really weak hive, and it was in that Apame nuke. I'm going to check it out first, and I don't think I can. I don't know how this fondant will work in an Apame hive, so we'll see if I can get it in there. They sent some new hard time getting out into these corners, and they would leave it, so I would just cut the corners off and lay it back down in there. So their answer to that, so you take this with a serrated edge, you cut a hole, and then you flip it over and stick the pointy side down into it. I'll try and demonstrate that here in a second, but I don't have much time, probably an hour's worth of good sunlight to work with. So I want to get started and get in there and let's check out our bees. I do see a lot of bees flying. So okay, I realized that my mic just went dead, so I don't know how far I got through that intro. But I'll show you real quick the bees. This is Hive 20. So yeah, they're out doing some flights. That's the Ceracell bottom there. And here's Hive 24, the little Apame nuke. This hive was pretty darn weak. And I did see a couple bees. There's one. There they are. And what I noticed, did my walk around in the previous video, I had that vent right there open to them with the round hole. So they weren't getting the full benefit of that Apame's insulating values by me having that open. So curious to see what they look like in there. Let's get in there real quick. So one thing I mentioned in a previous video, in 2025 I want to try and focus on keeping my hive stronger. And so going along with that, I need y'all to hold me accountable, because this is not a hive, if it stays weak, that I would stick with. I would just requeen it or combine it to another hive that's doing okay, and just start over scratch with this one. and not nurse these weak hives along and focus on keeping strong hives that will be good producers and make good splits. So I don't even have a full complement of frames in here. I forgot about that, obviously. So there's 5 frames in here. Decent amount of bees to me, looks like. So I don't know about fitting that fondant. There's not going to be much room there. So you can see the space between the feeder and the bottom board there. It's not a whole lot. Maybe I can get that fondant in there. So let's look at their stores and see what it looks like. They had enough, from what I could remember, feeding them the liquid using these feeders here. And once it got fairly cold, I quit feeding the liquid altogether. So it's probably 60 degrees out now, so I'm not in any danger of chilling this brood. Well, there won't be much brood in here anyway. I'm just going to get in and out. I just want to see how much food stores they got. So here's honey right here. Not much liquid right there. And there's a little bit right there where those bees are on it. We can see if we are queen right as well. I did give all my bees 1 extra oxalic acid treatment after they were mostly brooded down. So there's actual liquid right here. That's probably left over from the liquid feeding, and capped honey right there. And here's our queen marked red. You can see she's the one that's extra red. My pen got a little out of control there. So I think we're good here. I wouldn't even need to feed this actually. Let's look at this one frame right here. See how much food is on it. Quite a bit. You know, for that small of a population, there's quite a bit of food in there. All right. I'm curious to see if I can get one of those Hive Alive fondant patties on this underneath the feeder. I might just make a slice off of it, and I might even just take it out of the plastic. We'll see how it goes. Boy, these frames are cold. Do not want to move or line up or do what they're supposed to do. All right, let's get one of those over here. So I'll try this 2-pound patty first. I'm just going to lay it right here and see how this lines up. Yeah, so where it's kind of fat down here, it's not going to go. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut this thing, this skinny side right here. So when these things lay on their side and they get warm, that fondant's going to kind of migrate down the plastic. I think this will work here, just doing it this way. And there's no way I could use that little fondant tool thing because it sticks up too much. And I'm just going to open it bare to them like that. And I'm going to leave the plastic on the top. And I'll just put this right on top of them. And no, I don't have my electronic smoker out here yet. I did read the instructions on it, figure out how to light it and do all that. That's as far as I got. And it's still sticking up some here. I'll push it down just a little bit. And this lid will clamp down over that. There's a little bee over here on the side. All cold. Oh, there she goes. That's the Hive 24 is doing fine. And we had 2 nights. It was 13 degrees, if I remember right. 13, 15, somewhere in there. And it didn't get to single digits, but there were 3 nights really cold, and then it's been below freezing quite a bit. So, and even with that little vent open, didn't seem to bother them at all. And but it's a small colony. We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to do weight checks now and see if I find one that's lightweight, and we'll put some patties in those. So some people, they say this, they do a 2-finger test. If they can lift it with 2 fingers, it's too light and it needs fed. I kind of got a calibrated feel of what I think it should feel like. And I just go down and grab them and lift them. And that one is fairly light. Can I lift it with 2 fingers? Barely. So that's a candidate. Now this is a single deep, so it should feel a little lighter anyway. Actually, that feels about the same weight as this. It's a little lighter, but not much. So it's probably okay. I have a sideways brick on it, so that means I was feeding it earlier. This one's medium. When you do your weight test, you don't want big heavy things on the top of it, obviously. That one's about medium as well. This one's more heavy, so this one's in good shape. That's medium. So a lot of them are a lot lighter than what I would expect. This one's pretty heavy. I'd say that one's about medium for a single. This one is really heavy, good shape. It's good, good. A little bit light, good. And the pissy hives, still heavy, still heavy. So after going through and comparing each one, I don't feel anything alarming. I was used to how heavy they felt, you know, in the fall. Some of them were pretty darn heavy, and none of them are near like that except for a couple. Let's go around the corner and check this other side real quick. All right, let's run down this row here real quick. Check all these. Not bad. Very heavy. This is a single. It might be a bit light, so let's check that one. Not bad. Not bad. Okay, this is 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not bad. Not bad. Whoa. I think this one's okay. What's going on is the top box is very empty, and that made it feel a little weird. In fact, it slid, and there's newspaper on it, so this was a combine, and looks like a few bees slipped out when I pushed that over. But I think it's probably okay. But let's look at that one. Nice and heavy. Yeah, so now my camera battery went dead on me. I am all discombobulated. So I had a brick up here, which means I had fed this in the fall sun. And it's medium to light. And I don't see much activity here. Let's check that one for sure. These 2 hives were very heavy in the fall. I actually took honey out of them. They're still heavy. Yeah, these 2 are good. Let's check these 4 real quick. This one has the insulated top cover from Dave Rowden. That's good. That's what a single ought to feel like right there. And yeah, not bad at all. All right, let's get in these ones I put the bricks on this side. Yeah, that riled them up. They're like, who's lifting on my hive? All right, got this single deep here. This is 15, 14, 13. I see bees. Now I'm just going to look at the cluster size. Looks good. They're mostly on that side. But with that many bees and as light as this felt, it's probably not a good thing. Yeah. So I do want to get some fondant on these. Okay, let's see if I can get one of these fondant tools on here the way Dara showed me. So you use the serrated side and you twist it to kind of cut your hole, and then you're supposed to push this in and the bees come and go out of right there. I think is how it worked. Wow, that worked good. It took that right off. Look at that. It cut easy through that plastic. And then you push this side in like this. And as they eat through it, it raises that plastic up, and it's kind of like a little pup tent. And if it blocks the sides, they can go in and out through that little notch right there. So let's get that on there, see how it looks. And I don't want to waste that little bit right there. I'll put that in there too. Yeah, so the smoke from this smoker, it's like making me cough, which it normally does. And man, I'm anxious to try that electronic smoker that I got from, it came from France. Picked it up at the Bee Expo. I can't remember the name of the company. Starts with an A. So I want to get all the bees down so I don't trap any of them under this fondant. I'll just stick this right here. And you want to put this in with the tool side down. I want to put it over here on the side where all the bees are. They're on this side mainly. Put my shim. This wasn't meant to be a shim, but it's the thing I got from my uncle, and now it's a shim. All right, that is it. Get you a picture close up of that. So you can see the little thing sticking up from the tool right there. It's right underneath. So we'll come check this out after the next cold blast comes through. Put that right there. And I bet you it'll be pretty much gone. Now, I'm not going to pull any frames on this one. I can tell by how light it is. They could use some. In fact, I probably could have put one of those 5-pounders on there. Yeah, might do that on another one. Oops, I forgot the inner cover. Boo. Okay, so you want to be sure in the spring when your nectar flow comes, you've got that out of there, because they'll start building comb up in this thing because you got that space in there. That would not be good. So I'll put that there to remind me that's where the feed is. Let's see, this will be hive 6. I may pull some frames on this. I might choose to pull that top deep off of there. Oh, so we got the Apame feeder on here. These Apame feeders for the conversions, I really like them. They are pretty well sealed up to ants. Well, I'm seeing bees right here. So I'm gonna pull this feeder off. Well, I don't need to pop that. So you put the liquid in here, and you can also take these out, and you can feed solid sugar, granulated sugar, or you could put a sugar cake in there if you wanted, I suppose. Man, what is this thing stuck to? They've bridge combed this up. Yeah, look at that. That's interesting. So I guess because it sits so close to the frames, that's more like propolis. But I don't want them bees in there. We'll clean this up. Yeah, I wouldn't call that wax. It's not quite propolis, it's not quite wax. So I think I made the term up one year, call it praxilus. Yeah, you're not going to make candles out of that nasty sticky stuff. Okay, most of the bees are right here. I do want to pull a couple frames just to see what they look like as far as stores. I got them some nice beetle gels built up right here. A lot of bees on there, a little bit of liquid. I'm still seeing newspaper down in here where they haven't chewed it up and hauled it all out. Tells me they're not a very strong hive to begin with, but it's a 2-in-1. Liquid, so that's got to be from the feeder before, so that's going to be sugar water. It should be heavy syrup, like 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. Same thing, and a little bit of capped honey there. So as light as the top felt, there's some food up here. I was concerned this would just be empty. So really, I don't think they're as bad off as I thought. It's just comparing them to the other hives, it felt quite a bit lighter. But I think they're okay. I'm going to go ahead and put one of those 5-pounders on here just to check one of them out. Yeah, so there's capped honey right there. Kind of keeping an eye out for a queen. I didn't look at my notes to see if I should be looking for a marked queen or what. I'm rushing around because I'm in a hurry. I know I don't have much daylight. And I haven't shot a video in so long. I'm kind of rusty. Things aren't working right. Batteries, microphones. Not seeing any brood, which is normal. So it'd be a good time, you know, to do a oxalic acid treatment, but I don't think they need it. I want to show you this beetle gel. So on the ends of the frames, the bees will propolis in small hive beetles. Looks like there's probably some in there that are dead. Yeah, I think they are. I think that's what that is right there. So they'll gel up those beetles and they can't get out and they starve to death. Wow, I've never seen a beetle that met his demise in a beetle gel. Usually I pop the lids, and so the lid covers this part right here. And when you pop the lid or pop that inner cover, boop, those beetles just take off running and you'll see beetles running everywhere. But the best way to control small hive beetles is a strong hive. And see, they're taking care of that themselves. I didn't see one beetle in here. I used to worry a lot about beetles and put traps and all that. I don't do hardly any of that anymore unless I've got like a really weak hive. And I'll put a beetle trap in there, one of those beetle blasters with some oil in it. And they work. Man, I am in a hive in January. Yeah, so I noticed again my mic had failed, and I think I figured out it's the cord, and it was tripping out a little bit in my prior video too, so that's what it is. I hate that. But I'm using the built-in mic now, so it probably sounds horrible. But anyway, that's the putting the fondant in. Put a 5-pound here on number 4, a 5-pound over there, and another 1 pound. So this Hive Alive adds a lot of nutrient to your hive other than just sugar. And if I do make my own sugar cakes, I do add the Hive Alive liquid to that and dry it and use those that way. And that works really good too. You still use the shim and you get your sugar and you add the liquid and to the sugar where it packs about like a snowball, and flatten it out and just let it dry on a cookie sheet or something flat, and divide it into little squares, and that way you just snap it off and put in your hive in those little cakes. So that's it. I'm going to end it here. Hopefully this didn't turn out to be too much of a goat rope with all the mic problems. I'm sorry about that if it did. And we'll catch you on the next beekeeping video. Y'all take care.